Word.
You're damn right, people. Welcome to the Word in the Street podcast. It is May 6th, the year 2000 in jail, as always. Producing the show with me, my co-host, my friend and family, Jake from the MMA podcast. What do you hear? What do you say, son?
Not much, man. Just follow us on Twitter at the MMA Podcast. As always, it's an honor to be on with the legendary Ramses, Coach Jamie Huey, our guest, the return of Ross Finkelstein. It's going to be a big night.
My other co-host, there are other people getting ready to appear on the show, but there's no need to intro them. My other co-host is, of course, the Ninja himself. Always a pleasure to have him back on whenever he does pop in between missions, jobs. Ninja, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's an honor to be on here with you all.
Thank you for coming on, Ninja. My other co-host and, the greatest guest we've ever had. He's more than that. He's a behind-the-scenes guy almost, and in front of the cameras. You might have seen him from The Ultimate Fighter, Season 17, The Ultimate Fighter Brazil, Season 3. Coaching, cornering people, training MMA fighters left and right. He is none other than Coach Jamie, the living legend, Huey. How you doing, Coach?
I'm well, Jake. I'm a little disappointed in your introduction tonight. Usually, it's a little more colorful, but I'm doing well, guys. It's good to be back on.
Hell yeah, man. I'm sure Stone Cold Jake will make an appearance at some point tonight. We have some crazy shit planned a little bit later after the interview portion, but right away off the top of the right now, let's get to it right now. Our guest tonight is none other than an Ultimate Fighter, MMA, UFC Cutman, Adrian Rosenbusch, coming to us live right now on the call with us. Thank you. Welcome to the Word in the Street. How are you doing, Adrian?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, man.
It's great to have you on, man. You have a fascinating story, and I'm going to ask you about it right away. We'll get to it. But first off, anytime, it's no secret, Coach Jamie Huey, not only is a co-host, on and off, behind the scenes, he runs the whole damn thing. I'm telling you right now. He's like the Vince McMahon of this podcast. And I got to ask him right now, anytime he brings me a new name to have on the show, today it's Adrian Rosenbusch, I got to ask him, Coach Jamie Huey, what's going on with this guy? Do you vouch for him? Is he legit? Is he a good guy? Or are we talking to some jabroni? What's happening? What's the word on the street?
What? Yeah, absolutely. As solid as they come. Adrian's kind of my mentor in this Cutman business. So it's, yeah, absolutely, man. It's an honor to train with somebody at that level.
Let's get into that a little bit. Coach, maybe you can reveal a little bit more than you had previously. How did you hook up with Cutman Adrian Rosenbusch? What's going on right now? Where are you right now? Where are the two of you? What is this?
I think I ought to pass that question actually to Adrian. I think he could probably answer that a little bit better than me. So
Adrian,
yeah.
Fair enough. Adrian Rosenbusch, you're on the Word in the Street podcast, and I've got to know, man, how do you know our legendary coach, Jamie Huey? What's going on with that? What's happening? What can you tell us? Where are you guys right now?
Vegas. It's a great place to be. Fight capital of the world. Just run into people like Coach Huey. When you're running in good circles and you're meeting with all the top people, it's bound to happen. You're going to run into a good dude like that. And just started talking. Season 3, Ultimate Fighter Brazil at the Fight-Ins. We started talking a little bit there. And we've hit each other up a little bit over the years, but that was the first time we really got to sit down and talk, and I was really impressed with him. So he talked to me about, a mentorship and see if I could help him out, maybe learn a little bit of my craft. So I was more than happy to.
Yeah, a little bit of the ropes. So exploring a little bit outside of the boxing, Coach. Out of that arena, he's actually Coach Huey. Is this what I'm hearing? You're looking to maybe learn some Cutman skills here and there, expand your horizons. Is there anything you can say about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of got, I've been working with these UFC guys for a while, and I kind of miss boxing to some degree. So, I'm looking to maybe kind of start to work my way back into the boxing scene as well as wrapping hands and working cuts. So I'm actually working a Muay Thai event this Friday here in Las Vegas locally. It's kind of volunteering for some amateur Muay Thai fighters, working some cuts, wrapping hands, and leveraging some of my relationships in the boxing world. Kind of see where it goes from there. Las Vegas is, like Adrian said, the fight capital of the world, man. So it's this is definitely the place to be to get involved in that stuff. So I'm down here and enjoying the weather.
Hell yeah, and it seems like you've got a good teacher, Adrian. You've been a Cutman now for I did read your bio. I do my research here, but
All
this one
right.
escapes me. For about how long have you been a Cutman in the MMA world?
In the MMA world since about 2009. Martial arts my whole life, but that's when everything clicked together. It was 2009. I was like, well, this is half martial arts, half medicine. This is exactly where I need to be.
Yep.
It's the perfect balance for me. It's science and soul and together in the best way possible.
Yeah, and I did read your bio, and I was a little bit more than a little bit, pretty fascinating angle. Well, it's not an angle; it's your true life story. But to me, I'm watching wrestling, I'm watching UFC. To me, everything's a fucking storyline or angle, whatever. But yeah, I was interested because you started off, mixed martial arts. You were, training Taekwondo, growing up, and then it says at some point you were working, just a normal job like we always end up, and then you suffered a head injury. It was some sort of box item crate or something that fell a couple feet, hit you square on the head, and caused. I don't know. Would you consider it brain damage? This is the biggest injury of your life.
It was it was definitely the biggest injury in my life. It put me in a coma for an hour. An EMT that was returning from his lunch break found me, and it was a long recovery period for me. There was a year solid where I'd wake up every morning with no memory whatsoever, and I had to write Post-it notes and put it on a mirror. So when I woke up, I wasn't scared about where I was and what was going on.
It was like the movie Memento, basically. You wore that gap.
Exactly. Nobody's seen that movie. Nobody's seen that movie. Anytime I bring it up, everybody's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I love that movie, and I thought it was fake that could never happen. But you're saying you actually lived that scenario where you would just your short term and half of your long term memory would just disappear daily.
No, it was 100% of the short term. Every time I fall asleep, clean slate.
What's that like, man? Honestly, no bullshit. You wake up and you're like
very surreal.
You remember who you are, but you're like,
I remember who I was.
How's that like?
I remember high school. I remember all that stuff, but I'm like, wow, what state am I in? Where am I at? What do I do for a living? No idea. It's very, very strange. You just wake up in an interesting haze and you feel really refreshed because you've got no concerns in the world, but you also have no idea who you are.
What's the first note that you write to yourself once you figured out that, oh shit, when I wake up, I'm not going to remember a damn thing? What kind of notes do you write to yourself?
It said, you had a really bad head injury. You live in California right now. Call your mom. She'll give you all the details. And that was a brutal gig for my mom, every day to have to relive that and say, hey, this is what happened to you. You got knocked out. You don't remember things very well. When you go to sleep, you're not going to remember them again. So if there's anything you need to know for tomorrow, you got to write it down before you fall asleep again.
When she would say that, would it click? Or would you be like,
yeah, it would come back. It'd be just a kind of brutal realization. Like, like a suppressed memory. Like, really, that happened to me? And I'd ask her questions. I was like, was it really bad? And some days she'd be okay with it, and other days it would kind of take a toll having to tell me again.
So do you remember the actual accident?
Yeah, now that enough time has gone past, and I've had some amazing doctors, amazing neurologists, chiropractors, massage therapists, everybody work with me. And I've gotten back to well past what I ever thought, I would recover. Now I'm at the top of my game. Nothing bothers me. And I'm doing great. It just took a long time to get there. It was a tough road.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like people are already fascinated. I'm already getting feedback. People I guess I kind of skipped ahead of myself. They want to know how exactly you got injured to your best recollection.
It was a 40-pound box of catalogs that was on a sliding shelf in a stockroom. And I slid and the top shelf, it was supposed to have a lip on it. It didn't. And so I slid this, and then I went to pick up something on the bottom shelf, and it just hit me right in the back of the head. And, that put me out. I remember taking a couple steps, thinking, oh man, and then that was the end of my thought. Yep. I was out. Then when I woke up, EMTs were putting me in the back of an ambulance, and I was convulsing. I had no idea what was going on. I was freaked out. And from then on, for about the first 6 months at least, I would have these seizures, and I'd be in mid-sentence, and like you're trying to think of somebody's name, and then all of a sudden I'm in the ER and people are reviving me. I'm like, oh, what was that guy's name? Bam! Next thing, tubes in me and people are shocking me awake. So, yeah, that's what it was like.
So you get injured, you're out, and then for a long time after that, you have to deal with having just random seizures.
Yeah.
Is that something? I mean, I don't know how long ago exactly that was, but do you still? I mean, do you still have them? Does that ever go away?
Do
you still have memory loss?
I have some. No, memory's pretty good. I mean, there's only a few minor things I forget, but none of that's short term. Some of those are right around the injury, or I forget little things around that time. Nothing else. Everything else is fine after that. It was interesting to find out how that worked, and the progression now is, if I get too overloaded with certain things, not stress. Stress is fine. Stress doesn't set me off anymore. But if I get really depressed about something, it's kind of like I'll just go into a little bit of a trance for a while and space out, and sure, it looks scary to the people around me, but to me, it's just time flew by really fast, and I wasn't aware of it. But that takes a huge event, like somebody dying or something big like that.
Yeah. No, I was reading. Apparently, the fallout of the injury was not only seizures, but increased panic and anxiety attacks.
Oh yeah.
That's
something I've had to deal with ever since then.
And depression. Do you think the depression thing is totally just concussion induced?
It was not only the injury, but just the circumstances. Because when you realize that you're not all there, and you feel kind of alone, of course you're going to feel depressed. I mean, even if you were a healthy person and nothing's going right for you, you're going to feel depressed. And that was hard to deal with. That was just a rough patch, but I'm thankful for the things that happened there. As crazy as that sounds, I know when a fighter gets knocked out, when they come back to, and they're not dealing with the kind of knockout I had, which is horrific. This is just like a flash knockout, and they're back and they're crisp.
Right.
But when that fighter's coming back out of it, I love to be the person there that gets to be kind to them, whether they got knocked out or not. I just want to be there and be kind to that person during the most intense experience of their life.
Yeah, you know where they're at.
And I know where they're at, and I can talk them through it, and I can bring them back in, and I know what to say, and I know what I wanted to hear at that point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thankful that happened, because it allows me to appreciate what the fighters go through and helps me with fighter safety.
Yeah, and they're doing. We're seeing the UFC, claiming, putting on the front that they're actually doing and funding a lot of research into head injury, head trauma, concussions, being knocked out, what that does to the brain. You see a guy like, I believe it's TJ Grant, who's been out for almost a year because he says he just got knocked out during, he was rolling in jiu-jitsu, just training. He got knocked out. He's been dealing with the concussion fallout for the past year. He doesn't feel all there. He doesn't feel ready to fight. Do you have an opinion on that? I mean, that's shit. I guess talking to you, that's totally real. That can happen, right?
Yeah. Well, as far as the commission's involved and everybody looking after them, fighter safety is absolutely number one. They're never going to allow somebody in there if they think there's going to be long-lasting damage or anything like that. Always look after the fighter safety. As far as personal training, I'm not that familiar with how he was rolling, what he was doing. I've done jiu-jitsu for a long time, and I know that sometimes stuff happens. Usually it's getting an ankle tweaked or a thumb rolled over or something like that. But safety while you're training is something within the camps that they need to also take seriously, because I hate to see fighters get hurt when they're getting ready for this big payday that they need and that they've been working so hard for.
Yeah. And you mentioned, well, actually, before I ask that, now let's go with it. I hate to follow up a downer topic with another one, but in your bio, you also mentioned that you actually knew, and I don't know if you trained with or worked with, or it was just a personal relationship with Evan Tanner, who we know he died tragically. But can you tell us a little bit about Evan Tanner? What your relationship was with him?
That was another one of those pivotal moments in my life. Working with Evan, I was a massage therapist, and I came into work with Evan while he was getting ready to fight Yushin Okami. And, he was just getting everything back in shape, working with some old injuries he had, and I would work with him, 5 or 6 days a week, and we'd train a little bit together, and then we'd just sit there and discuss philosophy. And it was awesome. Evan was a fantastic person to be able to talk to. And during that time, we got close. He was a great guy. I learned so much from him. And then when he passed, that was a very brutal night for me when I found out. And I was driving by his Muay Thai gym here in Vegas, and I just pulled over. I don't know what was compelling me. I just pulled over. I said, there's more I can do for this sport than just being a massage therapist. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it's wonderful. But I just walked into his gym. I talked to his Muay Thai master, Renzo, and I said, hey, I think there's more I can do for this sport. I'm going to be a cutman for the UFC. And I just decided it right there. And everything from that moment forward was just in that one direction. I said, I will become a cutman in the UFC, and I will help fighters, and I will be able to provide for fighters with the best intent that they could possibly receive, and watch out for their safety and take care of these wonderful fighters. And made it happen from there. So out of that tragedy, something pulled me in the direction that I needed to do this, and it has been the most rewarding career I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, you definitely, it feels like we're skipping over that whole milestone there. How did you actually attain your goal of being a cutman for the UFC, for the Ultimate Fighter, MMA organizations in general. But the UFC, of course, is what everybody strives to. We talked to, we had a Cut Woman on, she's now, everybody's seen her now. She's working for the UFC. God bless her. But you being a Cut man.
That is my one and
her?
only protege. That is my protege, Swayze Valentine.
Is that how it came together?
The Queen of Cuts.
Tell us about the Queen of Cuts and how you actually made it to the UFC.
Absolutely. As far as me making it, I basically just kept showing up, working fights, amateur fights, volunteering my time, going into gyms, working any Muay Thai, boxing, anything I could get my hands on. Eventually getting with Stitch and having him train me, and that was great. Got some great information there, and then moved on and kept working, kept developing myself, and kept proving myself in bigger and bigger events. And then one day it was just my time. I'd done enough pro shows, I'd done enough great work that it was my time to go in, and everything clicked, and it was beautiful. And the second I walked in to work my first show, I was like, yes, this is great. These people are so organized. This is so awesome. Everything's top quality. These guys so go out of their way for the safety of the fighters. And you'll hear me say that a million times because it's so important to me. And those guys take it so seriously, and I love that. And some people might, think that they don't, or cut corners or this or that. I've heard silly things like that before, but I can tell you firsthand, they take such good care of the fighters there, and that means the world to me. As far as Swayze, she was hustling, working some free gigs, same as me, and then I met her at a charity event, and I saw she had great determination. I was like, wow, cool. But I just brushed it off. I had other things to do. Then she started hitting me up for a mentorship when I was on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil Season 1. And I was like, oh, all right, I'll see. I've kind of had a couple other people hit me up, and they weren't really panning out, and they were kind of wasting my time. So I wasn't that into it. But then she said, I'll buy a plane ticket to go to Las Vegas just to have a conversation with you to see if I'm, if I can hack it. And I was like, wow, okay, that's pretty impressive that she would do that, and I could just turn her away and say no. I said, okay. So she came out and working some more gigs together. Well, she was going to work another Tough Enough gig. And at that point, I was like, yeah, okay, she's hustling really hard. I agreed to train her. And she never brings this up because she's so nice. She would never bring it up. I knew it was going to be brutal for her to be the first one to step in the limelight in that direction. Mm-hmm. And I told her, I said, I'm not going to be nice to you. I said, you do things, the right way. You do things professionally. You are going to work as a top-level professional from day one, or else you're out of here. You're in my rearview mirror, and I'm never going to look back. I'm going to give you unreasonable deadlines. I'm going to give you unattainable goals, and I expect you to do everything 100% the first time around and not complain once. And she never did, and she did everything, and she hustled so hard. And she deserves every bit of credit. Anybody who thinks she's hype has never met her, because she is the real deal.
Yeah, she's we talked to her. She was tenacious. She was dedicated. She was driven. You can
absolutely
tell. Definitely.
Undeniable that she was going to reach it.
Yeah, we're proud of her, man. Seeing Swayze get tweeted out by the UFC, her first show, like they recognized it was a proud moment. If anybody hasn't heard her on the show, go listen to it, man. But yeah, good to know that you were the one that was actually helping her out a little bit. That's what we all try to do here. I mean, that's how MMA works. Still in these early stages, it's not all corporatized. It's who you know. It's what you can do and what you can prove. How much hard work you put in. Still, I love that, man.
it's surrounding yourself with good people. Like I've heard Coach Huey say that several times. Work really hard and surround yourself with good people, and you're going to go far.
He's the definition
That's
of
so
good
true.
people, man. Yeah, the coaches helped me out. Never asked for anything in return, man. Yeah, I know he's listening, man. Thank you, Coach. But Jake from the MMA podcast, I believe that he's had somewhat of a similar, nothing as drastic as you, Adrian, man. But he's also had an experience with, a concussion that just let's be honest, fucked him up for a while. Jake, you're on with Adrian, man. What do you hear? What do you say?
Yeah, it wasn't near as bad, but I want to say 3 or 4 months. I was sleeping the weirdest hours, never more than 2 or 3 hours at a time. I didn't have the bad memory loss problems. Thank God, but definitely a few times where I would go out and drive to the store and sort of halfway there be like, where am I going now? Like, what is going on? I've torn an ACL. I've broken my collarbone. I've broken my arm, and the concussion far and away. It's like, I don't know, like people sort of clown on Grant a little bit, and whenever I hear people talking about Grant, I know like, okay, well, you've never gone through a really bad brain injury, because those can be horrible. But I was on the lucky end. It was only 3 or 4 months. I was lucky enough to at the time be going to the University of Florida, who had an awesome neurology program. Sort of walk us through what they did to help you get over your brain injury, and how long it took before you really felt like you were out of the fog.
Part of it was structural, because my neck and shoulders got tweaked out really bad, having that weight hit me at that funny angle. So getting with a good chiropractor to help straighten everything out and start, getting nerve signal functioning correctly how it should be, that helped. Then going into diet and getting some things that were helping me out, revamp my diet really, really changed. Also, close to that time, I weighed around 220, and then changed my diet. I'm only like 5'7", 5'8", and now I'm down to 160. And it was just tweaking those things, and I feel amazing. And I just function at such a high level. But what I say to anybody who has any kind of problem with a brain injury is, don't ever feel embarrassed. Don't ever feel like you have to apologize for the fact that you have an injury. And this also goes for all the people dealing with traumatic brain injuries coming back from war. Don't ever feel like you have to apologize for it. It's the same thing as anybody else's problem. This is just what you're going through. It doesn't define you. It doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you slow. It doesn't mean that you should be able to be ridiculed by somebody because their nerve signals are firing better than yours at that particular moment in time. So little things with diet, try to get as much sleep as you can. Try to keep yourself on a regular schedule. But let people around you know, hey, I have this going on. Like in the beginning stages, if something was just stressing me out too much, I would go into a seizure. And so I would tell people, hey, like right now, this is too much for me. I'm gonna have to walk away from this. We can pick this conversation up later when I've calmed down a little bit. You set your limitations and you go with that, and it's your health, and you need to be very forgiving and very patient with yourself. Be as kind to yourself as you would be to somebody else who had that problem.
Dude, that is amazing advice, because I was sophomore, junior year of college, and all my friends are going out to parties and clubs with loud noises and bright lights, and for half a year I completely removed myself from all of that, and I I definitely had good friends who recognized what was going on and, wanted to help me out as much as they could. But it was also weird because you had the contingent of people who look at you and say, well, you don't have a broken arm, you don't have a broken leg, you're walking around fine. It's all in your head. Like, stop being antisocial and come and party. And you've got to realize that you can't, try and feel socially stigmatized to try and get through it because it's not something that's gonna be that easy to get past. Sort of to change gears really quick before I pass it off to Ramses. I wanted to ask a question about Swayze because it was really wild to have Swayze on, like, I think 3 or 4 months before she made her debut in the UFC, and she goes from someone not many people had heard about to being on Fox Sports and Yahoo Sports and every news outlet ever, and we're seeing her at more and more UFC events. Has she changed at all from the Swayze that started off as your protege to the Swayze that a lot of people, know and recognize her name as the first female cut woman in the UFC?
Oh yeah, now all she does is feed champagne to her lobsters all day long.
Yeah.
No,
Swayze.
Swayze has not changed one bit. She is the same hardworking, down to earth girl, so easy to talk to. She's just so chill. So anybody who gets a chance to talk to her, do it. She's awesome. She'll take the time to talk with people. She's great. She's really cool to her fans, and I'm just so proud of where she's at. And seriously, nobody deserves success like that woman does. She's great.
Awesome. Yeah. Adrian, just have a couple more questions, and then we're done. I promised I would keep it short. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. We're already going overboard.
It's all right.
Yeah,
We're
but
all good.
yeah, no, it is fascinating talking to you, man. Shit, man. I mean, I hope you don't mind. This is a really fucked up story that you have here, man. Like, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
like,
I don't
obviously,
mind. Whatever questions you got.
yeah, obviously,
Not the first time I've had to answer them, but especially if they're helping people like Jake. That's amazing that I can say something that could help you out. I mean, I'd go through it again if it just did that for you. So
that's exactly what I
more
was
than
gonna
happy
ask.
to
Yep.
discuss it.
I was gonna go to a couple questions that could actually help people in their practical lives.
Sure.
Being a cut man. All right, most people, let's say, like most people don't even know how to properly treat a cut. Like just going back to the basics. All right, like people are preparing food. They're trying to make, I don't know, fucking sushi for the first time in their life. They got the knife there. They cut up the vegetable. They accidentally, almost nearly slice off their pinky finger. All right, the thing's hanging off. You being a cut man, like, what do you do? Like simple first aid. I don't even know. I would panic. I'd sit there crying. What do you
Yeah.
do when you suffer a major cut, let's say on an appendage like a finger?
You definitely want to get direct pressure on that immediately. I mean, have you noticed anytime you get cut on something, your first instinct is to put your hand on it?
Yep.
That's just our hard wiring, our nature from our caveman days, slapping our hand on it. It's exactly what we're supposed to do. Put direct pressure on that. I mean, depending on how bad the cut is, if you're in bad shape, yeah, you need to get some help for it immediately. But for sure, direct pressure is
If you're bleeding,
always
apply
going to be part of
pressure.
the component.
All right.
Yeah. You can never go wrong with that. Never go wrong with that.
And
Okay,
so
yeah, wrap it up.
Yeah, so you've sliced your finger. It's bleeding like crazy. You're panicking at the sight of blood. You apply that pressure. What is the purpose of that? Just to try to stop the blood from coming out of your body? Are you trying to press until like the blood congeals and seals off? Like,
yeah, you're trying to give your body a chance to do what it naturally wants to do. The same thing in the ring is I'm trying to help the body and speed up what it's naturally trying to do anyway. You get a cut like that in the ring, on your head, it's going to naturally stop at some point, but definitely not less than 60 seconds without my help or one of the other people's help. So you're just trying to assist the body to clot. That's what it wants to do anyway. It wants to shunt off the amount of blood going there. It wants to reduce it. Your body doesn't want you to bleed to death. It's going to do everything it can to help you. And naturally, you're going to be hardwired, like I said, to put pressure on it and keep it there and go find some help at that point.
Now,
depending on how bad you got it.
Yeah, a human, like horror stories, man. Let's talk about it. A human being, naturally, instinctively, the sight of blood should be disgusting. It shouldn't be something that you want to touch and get your fingers into. Seeing someone bleeding, like, you don't want to touch their blood. That's where I'm at. But you obviously know that the fighters are probably, tested at least for, life-threatening diseases or something, at least at the UFC level. But how much do you worry about blood, man? Obviously, that's a big part. I mean, that's your job to deal with blood. So are you not afraid of it at all? Do you think about, oh, man, I'm glad I'm wearing gloves. What's the deal with blood, man?
Well, as just being a professional, you always take your universal precautions, just like anybody would in a hospital. You wear your gloves. You make sure you properly dispose of any items that have come in contact with bodily fluids. Once you get your good habits in place, everything's fine. You don't have to worry about it anymore. If you take your gloves off the right way, if you put your bloody gauze and bloody swabs away like you're supposed to, don't just leave them out. If you make sure you're working as clean as possible, you don't need to be worrying about it all the time. And the universal precautions are you're just treating everybody as though they have a bloodborne pathogen that could be, and could infect you. Mm-hmm. And after a while, that thought goes away, and then you're just working on assessing the damage and figuring out that puzzle that's in front of you. Because no two cuts look exactly the same. When I go into the corner, it's always different. There's always a little something different that I'm having to adjust to. So the sight of blood doesn't bother me, but I'm not one of those guys that really obsesses about it and prides myself on, blood stories. If I had it my way, I would never have another fighter get injured in the ring again.
Yeah.
I would rather just wrap their hands, have them go out, put on a spectacular performance. Somebody wins, somebody loses, but nobody gets hurt. That would be fantastic. If I could do that, that would be wonderful. But I'm very, very fortunate that I have the skills to be able to help those people when they do.
Yeah, you're not God, unfortunately. But yeah, we all wish there was a way to watch the wildest, roughest MMA fights with somehow them being fake and everybody being okay in the end. Unfortunately, they haven't figured that one out. The computers haven't, but eventually they will. But good segue to dealing with blood as if you were it's your job. That's what you're there to deal with. It's similar to being in EMT. Speaking of which, the Ninja, one of our co-hosts on this show, he likes to keep quiet. They usually have him out. He's a ninja, so he's assassinating people. But tonight he's on. He does, I believe, have something he wants to bring up with you, Adrian. So without further ado, the Ninja, you were on with Adrian Rosenbusch. Go ahead.
First of all, Adrian, I gotta say, it's my personal opinion. No disrespect to any of the other guests, but I think you are my favorite guest that we have had on the show. Seriously, listening to your story is awesome.
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, I'm kind of going through the same memory lapse, the same stuff that you were kind of bringing up right now. So just hearing your story and how you made it through it has kind of helped me, just being able to listen to you. So thank you so much for that. And like I said, you got to be my favorite guest that we've had on.
Wow.
That means so much. Thank you.
He was there for Swayze too.
Yeah. So getting on to the question thing, I was an EMT SWAT medic for so long, and so yeah, and I've also done combat sports for a very long time too. So my question for you is why is EMTs? Because I can't tell you how many people I've had in the back of the ambulance with a lac to the face, and I'm just like, give me a cotton swab with some clotting agent on it, and let me jam that right in there, and I can have that stopped in 60
Yeah,
seconds.
let's
And
get busy.
but
Let's do it.
no, we have to wrap and apply pressure and then rewrap and then the whole process. Why do you think that is? Why doesn't the emergency medicine side that we do, why is it that we don't learn from the stuff that you do? Because I'd rather stop a cut in 60 seconds versus we get to the hospital and bandages are it's seeping through bandages. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because we have a different set of goals, a different set of protocols, a different set of priorities. For me, a laceration on the face is a high priority. For an EMT, that's kind of a low priority if they've got other stuff going on. You're worried about life-threatening injuries. I'm worried about, their vision being impaired, them having nerve damage, them having anything like that that could be an issue. But that's why we have a whole medical team. It's not just a cutman, or it's not just an EMT or a doctor. When you have a show that's run the right way, like the UFC, you have a whole team there, and they're all looking out. The doctor is overseeing the injuries, seeing how bad they are. I'm a specialist to clean the guy up, make sure the fighter's ready to go back out, and stop bleeding in less than 60 seconds, swelling in less than 60 seconds, any other issue in that neighborhood. And the EMTs are there to stabilize and transport anything that's beyond a laceration or swelling or anything like that. And I have had EMTs and even trauma physicians come to some of my seminars to learn what I do, because they are interested in taking that step. They realize they can't just come straight out of the operating room and function in the ring, just like I would be lost in the emergency room trying to help them out. And we can all learn from each other, but we're all doing slightly different things, and that's why they require all of us to really, really look after the safety of these guys. So I'm always asking doctors and EMTs for their notes, and they're always fascinated by what I do, and they think some of the solutions that I have, they're like, wow, I would have never thought of that. I would have never thought of using epinephrine to stop a cut. That's a fascinating idea. So it's great. The more we can keep learning, the better. The whole game gets. Because the second you stop learning, I don't think you're of any use to anybody. I think if to the day you die, you keep trying to improve yourself in whatever it is. You have to always keep moving forward towards your goals. You have to always be better than you were. You can never wrap hands fast enough, well enough, anything. You can never treat swelling well enough. You can never stop a cut fast enough. You can never take too good a care of somebody. You can never be too well educated about how to help somebody. So yeah, I'm all for that. I think we should all be stepping forward and all trying to improve ourselves. And that's what I love about the sport of MMA in particular, is everybody's so open to learning. That's so wonderful. That's why I get a best kick out of the sport. It's everybody wants to do things the right way, and I'm more than happy to be part of that.
That's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, greatest guest, in my opinion, that we've had. Thank you so much for your time, brother.
Thank you so much.
Definitely a great one, Adrian. Just two more quick questions before we let you go here. And we did keep you on. I did break my word because you actually you turned out to be fascinating. Actually, like I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I your story is crazy. It's unheard of almost. I mean, it's a case study. I've never heard of anything like it. But the fact that you've actually, I mean, let's say you're 90 to 100% recovered from something that would have, a lot of people would just be sitting around collecting disability, just depressed, but you're actually out there, man. That's amazing in and of itself. Yeah, man, your story is fascinating, and we haven't even touched on it. But how big, now that you're a cut man for the UFC, you said it was one of your goals. Damn, could you die happy tomorrow, or do you still want to go somewhere else in this life? Like, as far as
I
life
got a
goes,
few things
man,
left to do. I've got a few things left to do.
I don't even know, how old are you? If you want to
I'm going
reveal
to be
that.
38 in September.
Oh damn! I would have guessed 28, honestly.
Well, I got carded for a Sharpie the other day. What's up with that? How
gotta
old do
be
you
at
have to
least
be to own a
18.
Sharpie?
18 these days, man. Yeah, there's a whole. I think huffing like paint and stuff is like making a comeback or something. I don't know these kids, man.
Every time I'm trying to buy something, I'm like, how are kids getting high off this, and why? Stop it.
No, you were young.
Go
looking
work out.
dude,
You'll feel
actually.
great.
Damn, I'm shocked. Oh, but anybody in the MMA world? Well, shit. I was gonna ask, how big of a fan are you really? Are you watching every UFC out there? Because I was gonna ask about a specific UFC fight the other day where this dude, got knocked out by like it was an illegal knee or kick. He was basically knocked out on his feet, but the ref called a pause to the fight, didn't call it off. It seemed like he was waving it off, but whatever. They let this guy in the UFC, recover after apparently being knocked out, concussed, and then he comes back out to answer again. Because it was an illegal shot, they weren't willing to actually call the match off. Maybe someone else on the call can actually cite the match I'm talking about. Sorry, I don't have the names in front.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one in particular.
It happened. It happened.
I
to the
think
last
you were talking
UFC.
about RFA 14, the guy who blacked out on a stool
Oh.
in between rounds.
Well, that was horrible. But no, in the UFC, it actually happened at the last fight. This dude was hit with an illegal knee. The ref calls a pause. They should have called the fight off. Even Dana White addressed it. He said they should have called the fight off, but it resumed. I believe it was on a Fight Pass prelim. That's probably why no one remembers. But yeah, man. Adrian, once somebody's knocked out, I mean, did you see the RFA one that we're talking about, where the guy is actually he passed out in between rounds and they stood him back up and made him fight again? Like, do you have, as a cut man, any ability to overrule the ref at all or call a stop to the fight? Do you have, or even the doctors?
It's not to
do you have any
overrule the
authority?
ref. When you have a good, it's part of being a professional is you develop a rapport with whatever commission you're working with, whatever ringside physicians, and the rest of your medical team. And when you start working well with them, then together you can make a good assessment. I can clean the guy up so the doc can actually see how bad the wound is. When there's blood all over the person's face, sometimes the doctor can't see how bad it is. Cosmetically, it looks bad, but medically, it's insignificant amount of blood. Things like that. So we work together, and a well-functioning team will help prevent things like that. You can't catch them all, and people will make mistakes. Being a referee is a tough gig. I always tell all the refs that I talk to, hey, I'm not switching jobs with you, brother. Like, I'm happy where I'm at. I just get to take care of people and do my thing. But yeah, every once in a while something like that will slip through the cracks. People aren't perfect, and it's not an excuse, but we all need to be constantly, like I said, evolving, doing better. So let's take great care of these fighters who are so fascinating to us, because their whole life is like, well, actually it's the reverse. It's their whole situation from the time they show up to the arena to the time they leave is like a microcosm of our life. who get to see all the spectrum of human emotion that they go through. Every little detail is so beautiful and fascinating, and you get to be there for it. And even if you're in the crowd cheering for that person, or you're in the locker room helping them out when they're sad that they lost the fight, or they're rejoicing, what they did, it's the human element at its most raw and exposed and pure form. And it's a beautiful thing to be around. And let's just take good care of these people, because they're displaying something for us. It's a symphony of art and movement, and it's exciting, and it's wonderful to watch, and beautifully executed moves that they've trained for weeks and weeks and weeks leading up to the fight, and the mental game involved, everything they do for us. Let's take good care of them. And for the most part, we are doing a wonderful job taking care of them. And organizations are really stepping up to do more. And I'm very happy to say that.
Wow. Deep, well said, and 100% true. I, for one, was following you, and I feel you on that one, man. Definitely, man. Adrian Rosenbusch, thank you so much for coming on the Word in the Street podcast. Before we let you go, where can people find you, contact you, stalk you, follow you, look you up? What's the word on the street?
Las Vegas Cutman.com. Just Adrian Rosenbusch on Facebook, and at Cutman Adrian on Twitter. And I've got to just give a little bit of a shout out to my family, who's helped me out so much. They've been amazing. To my fiance in Sao Paulo, Brazil, Ana Carolina. I cannot wait to see you again. And everyone at Zuffa, those people are amazing. They are fantastic people. I wish you guys could just have a conversation with all of them. They're fascinating. Everyone who else helped me, all the doctors who helped me, all my friends who've helped me. The list goes on and on. There's just too many people to thank. It would take me another hour. And I thank you guys for having me on, and thank you guys for what you're trying to do for the sport too. I really appreciate it.
No, definitely. We're all advancing and trying to promote it, and definitely thank you for your time. I could have gone on another half hour at least about the Brazilian fiance. That sounds like a whole story altogether, man. Wow.
That's another reason why I thank the UFC, because I met her. I wouldn't have met her if I wasn't in Brazil working the Ultimate Fighter. So
that's what I was going to say. That name sounded familiar.
Thank you again to Zuffa. You guys are awesome.
Excellent. We'll definitely have you back on the show, if not only to just follow up on that after the season of Tough Brazil concludes. But yeah, thank you, Adrian, man. Definitely check him out. I'll tweet out the links. I'll give everything out. But thank you so much for your time, sir. We'll just talk to Coach Jamie for a little bit after you've left us. But man, fascinating story, man. Check him out, Adrian Rosenbusch. Thank you so much, and from all of us, man. Have a good night, sir.
All right, you guys too.
Yep.
Talk to you later.
Later. There he goes, Adrian Rosenbusch, UFC, MMA Cutman in general. Coach Huey, man, that's a crazy story this man has, dude. This crazy man is going to pass on some knowledge to you, hopefully. Hopefully you're still with us, Coach.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What is this guy for real, man? Like, that was some crazy shit he was saying, man. Like, he would lose his memory every day.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude, man. He's one of these guys that, one of the things that I kind of pride myself on. I had some of the greatest boxing coaches, I think, of all time. Charlie Rios and Bill Mertz, and I got to work with guys like Tom Mustin and Emmett Linton, and some of these guys that, so many more guys that I'm, George Gonzalez and Fred Ryan. One thing that has always been important to me is being able to pass on what I know to somebody else. Not just in regards to being a coach, boxer, but also, developing other coaches throughout the years. Me and Charlie up there at the Beaver and Powell have developed tons of coaches, and just an offshoot of our boxing program we've had amateur boxing programs open up underneath ours. We've got 3 boxing coaches or 3 different gyms that have kind of broken off of ours and started their own programs. And it's always been important to us to not just hold on to our knowledge, but to actually get out there and share it, because, it's not something that we invented. And that's the thing I appreciate about Adrian so much, is he's not one of these guys that, this is what he knows and he's going to hang on to it. And he doesn't want anybody else to know, because that could be a threat to what he does. And, he's one of these guys that he believes that there's enough success to go around for everybody. And I've always appreciated that about him. And being able to be down here and train with him and learn kind of, not the tricks of the trade, but the actual trade itself from him. A guy that's at such a high level. I've been wrapping hands for 15 years throughout my amateur boxing program and some pros that I've worked with. But when I came down here and I started working with Adrian, it opened up a whole new thought process of exactly not just what I was doing, but why I was doing it. And then, then getting into the actual working cuts and how the anatomy and physiology work in the face and bone structure of the hands and the face and the cheeks and cuts and blood. And, it's been fascinating. And, I know he passed all that on to, his prodigy.
Jesus, how many chapters are we going to write in this living legend of yours is what I'm saying. That's the bottom line. Coach,
well, it's fun, man. Yeah, it's good. It's, it collectively, if we help each other, I mean, that's all this is about. It's really about everybody collectively helping each other to get better, man. And that's why, I've always been such a fan of this podcast, man, because that's really what we have the opportunity to do, is get out there and reach people and talk about things and mostly to inspire people. And that's what you guys do every single Tuesday on here, man. Ramses, I know how hard you work, and Jake and everybody else that's a part of this. So it's, that's all it's about, man. Yeah.
It's mostly Jake. I'm just riding his coattails as he produces it. Does the actual work.
Those cool intros he's got. That's what does it.
Yep. I just have to occasionally type you should play this song. It's ridiculous almost. He actually, I believe speaking of Jake, give him some mic time here. We'll throw him a bone. I believe he has something for you, Coach. What's happening, Jake? What's happening?
Yo, Coach, really quick, I just wanted to get your thoughts. We would be remiss if we didn't ask a boxing trainer about Mayweather versus Maidana. Went down last Saturday. A lot of people were saying it should have been a draw. Floyd did an awesome job, sort of realizing what Maidana was bringing at him and adjusting, but I saw a lot of discontent about the decision on the Twitters. Did you watch the fight? What'd you think of Floyd?
I think I thought Maidana won the crowd, but Floyd won the fight. Maidana was a huge underdog coming into this fight. We knew he was scrappy, but I don't think anybody really thought that he was going to test Floyd to the level that he did. And, there's only really been a couple times, you've seen Floyd out there and really been tested. I think he was tested. Well, my personal opinion, and I appreciate Floyd Mayweather. I'm not kicking the guy at all by any regard, but the first Castillo fight, I think they fought at 135 for the title. Floyd was coming up from 130. I could be wrong. I thought Jose Luis Castillo won the first Castillo fight against Floyd. Floyd came back, obviously, and won the second fight. He's been tested with Chop Chop Corley gave him a good fight. Judo was giving him a good fight. But, Maidana really went out there and just put on a show, man. I was extremely impressed with the way Maidana went out there. And, you have to fight. You're not going to outbox Floyd. You have to rough him up. And I thought Maidana did a good job of doing that. Therefore, he won the crowd. So I think people really kind of started to tie their thoughts in regards to who deserved the decision based on their emotions and not exactly what happened in the fight. my thought and everybody, the old saying of boxing, you got to beat the champ to be the champ. Now, I had it pretty close going into the 10th round. You could give it a round or two either guy. Maidana did not pull the trigger in the 11th round. I thought Floyd won the 11th round, no question. The 12th round was a little more subjective. So I absolutely agree with the decision. Had Maidana went out there and really turned it up full blast on the 11th and 12th round, I could have definitely seen Maidana winning the fight, but he didn't. And you got to beat the champ to be the champ. So I definitely agree with the decision.
Beautifully said.
Holy shit. I thought, just coming out of nowhere here with my opinion, I thought the fight was entirely bullshit. I thought Mayweather probably lost. This pitter-patter thing, though, it seemed like the whole thing was a work. I don't even know anymore, but they've done so much harm to their own sport. I don't even know what's real or not when I'm watching it anymore. You never know. This whole, they were fighting about the glove size and stuff. What kind of real fighter is going to be like, nah, I don't like the gloves. Give me a break. It's a fight. I'm done with it. The boxing thing, I don't believe the hype. I don't believe any of these fights, consequently. But I did believe, how about this? Just switching it all back, ultimate promo style here, Coach. I did believe the fight that I saw on the latest episode of The Ultimate Fighter Brazil. 3 people. Warley Alves from Team Sun and from Team Dark Side absolutely destroyed Marmota from Team Sun's team. His name is Ishmael of Jesus, translated into English.
Marmota is what everybody calls him. Marmota.
Yeah. What this fight was absolute destruction. Obviously, they didn't show everything leading up to it, but I mean, this was such a one-sided fight. He whooped his ass real quick. This guy had no answer for Warley Alves. Getting it back to Tough 3 Brazil, Coach, you were there. You saw the fight. Was it as one-sided as the edit seemed? What the hell was wrong with Marmota? Because it looked like they were in different, it looked like one of them was a white belt and the other guy was just a black belt.
He almost had his career ended.
Stone cold.
Warley fought a guy to get in the house that the guy he fought to get in the house was a guy in his gym. He was the number 1 or number 2 middleweight in Brazil. He was a guy he's a veteran. He was a guy that everybody was saying he was going to get on the show, and he was the guy that was going to win the show, and there's nobody out there that could beat him in Brazil. Warley was a sparring partner, or basically they worked out of the same gym together. And this guy used to beat Warley up in the gym all the time. They were friends, but, there was always that alpha dog. The guy that Warley fought to get in the house was the alpha dog in the gym, number 1, number 2 guy in Brazil. And Warley was the young guy coming up. And we had Warley in our dressing room to get in the fight, to get in the house. And, from the beginning, me and myself and Clayton just knew that there was something different about this kid. When we went to pick teams, we specifically lobbied to tell you have to pick Warley Alves. This needs to be our number 1 pick. If this guy gets away from us, we're going to regret this for the rest of the season. He just fought so hard to get in the house. A guy that used to beat him up, that was the favorite to win the show. And Warley went out there and he just put his heart into that fight. And it went 3 rounds. And, that fight unfortunately got edited, I think, to get in the house a little bit. But if you could go back and watch that, it'll speak volumes to how rough this kid is, man. Warley really became a guy on our team that he was the first guy out the door when the fight came with Vanderlei. If you see Chell and Vanderlei on the ground, and the first guy you see is, Guida, obviously, but then you see Warley. He was the first one through the door. you know, man, Marmoto was their guy. He was the guy on their team that they swore by this kid. They said, Marmoto, nobody's going to beat this guy. And we were saying the same thing with Marley. So when it came down to it, like that, everything they showed on that episode was exactly the way it was. Everybody was extremely anticipating this fight. What is going to happen? Like, I knew how good our guy was. I didn't know how good their guy was. But Chael gave the reference to the best pizza that you've ever had. And when we went out there and Warley did what he did, man, you know, it was just like Vanderlei said, it was crushing to their team. They were devastated that a guy like Warley could go out there and make such quick work of such a gamer like Marmoto. So for us, it was a huge lift, man. I mean, remember going into this, we were 0-4 at some point. Now we've worked our way up to 3 wins in a row. Yeah, so we're 3 at this point. But we knew what Warley was capable of doing, and you know, when we got him on our team, I think he was like the third middleweight we finally picked. I think me and Clayton were just kind of stressing that we weren't going to get this guy. But he's a truth man. He is a rough cat. When you think of a fighter mentality, that's Warley Alves.
Yeah, even Chael was, he mentioned a couple of times that he was like, I mean, these guys were all, especially Warley, a UFC class already was what he was saying. Like, you know, he was
right
saying,
now.
I'll call Dana tomorrow, you know, that's, but in that episode, someone else was whooping ass, and that was none other than the man himself, Chael Sonnen. I'm talking about the Coach's Challenge that was on the last episode of The Ultimate Fighter Brazil 3. I'm talking about Chael Sonnen whooping Vanderlei's ass in a soccer type Coach's Challenge. Soccer, of course, being football in Brazil, their biggest sport. Like, that's hands down. I mean, this was like Chael Sonnen dunking on Michael Jordan, basically, when you break it down. Like, you don't fuck with the soccer is what I'm trying to say. But Chael whooped his ass at soccer. You were there seeing it live, man. Did you think he was gonna win that one? Because even I was like, Vanderlei's probably at least played 20 years of soccer growing up. But you were there, man. The Coach's Challenge, was that heavily edited? Was there any cheating or whatever? Was that straight up the way we saw it? Sonnen was just better with the soccer ball than the actual Brazilian. What's the word?
You know, it was, the Americans coming over and beating the Brazilian in soccer couldn't have been good for Vanderlei's morale. And I'm sure it didn't do him
the entire season.
Yeah, I don't think it did him any favors amongst the fans over there. But it was kind of funny. We're standing there, and Clayton walks up to Chael, and I looked across the field, and I see Vanderlei, and he's got his soccer outfit on, and I'm looking at him, and he's got all the soccer stretches, and he's smiling and laughing, and I'm thinking, wow, I bet this guy's a soccer player, man. This guy's a Brazilian, like this guy. Right. So Clayton walks up to Chael and he says, "Hey, man," he goes, "How?" He goes, "Are you? Can you play soccer? Are you good?" And Chael goes, "Coach, I don't need to be good. I just need to be better than this guy." Right? So it was pretty funny the way he put it into perspective. And slow and steady wins the race, man. He went out there and he performed. And when we won that Coach's Challenge, it was great. And so he wins obviously the $33,000, right? We're all excited about this. He goes and he wins, but even more so, he wins this jersey, a soccer jersey signed by the great Brazilian soccer player Pele. Well, he's
their icon. He's their Michael Jordan of Brazil.
Oh,
Pele.
He is. Pele is. People don't realize Pele is bigger than Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Soccer is a world sport. Muhammad Ali is an icon, but Pele is the best soccer player of all time in the biggest sport that have ever existed. So Chael's wearing this jersey, or he's got it in his hand. I can't remember. He might have been wearing it, or he had it around his shoulder. Part of our post-celebration, you'll see on all the Ultimate Fighters, we go in the dressing room, and they had these energy drinks called TNT. And we would shake up the TNTs, and we would pour them on each other. And like, it was like an NBA, world championship celebration. Oh, we completely just screwed up the locker room. I mean, I felt bad for the ladies that had to go in there and clean at night, because we just destroyed shit. But so after we win the soccer game, we do our, proverbial celebration with the TNT energy drink. And right before we get going, Vinny says, Chael, stop. He goes, stop. And he goes, what? And he goes, take that jersey off. He goes, do you realize what that is? He goes, that jersey is worth more than that money sitting on that plate. So Chael went, and he didn't really understand. He didn't get the concept of who Pele was. And once Vinny kind of explained, like, well, listen, bro, this is like bigger than Muhammad Ali that you've got, on that shirt.
It's like Mike Tyson, if he'd never gotten arrested, had a clean legacy.
Yeah. It was like, Chael probably would have given the jersey away if somebody went up and asked him for it. That's how Chael is, but he didn't really realize the how big of a player Pele was over there. So anyway, long story short, Chael winning the soccer coaches challenge over in Brazil for us was huge, man. It was a morale booster. Like I said, we were down 4-0, but we never stopped functioning as a team. We knew what we were going to do, and the way that the story is writing itself now. We've come back. We've won 3 in a row, and then we won the coaches challenge. Man, it was so important for morale.
One of the things, Chael, there was an interview that he did with Gracie Mag that got released, a video interview. Who the hell knows where it was? And it seemed like it was like from Chael's living room, but then it had the background noise of an airport, which makes me deduce that it was in some sort of presidential club in the airports like they like to have. But that's neither here nor there, people. But he did mention in this interview that the best part of being in Brazil was, in fact, the food. And I keep asking you about this, Coach, because I'm just getting there, man. I'm one of these dudes. I'm a foodie. I'm obsessed, man. I'm just up for finding the next greatest meal in the entire world. But Chael was mentioning that the cuisine was one of the most shocking parts of Brazil. In the episode before last, I noticed that you guys came by the fighter's house with some trays of sushi. Man, it looked delicious. What is this is a selfish question because nobody else gives a damn, but what is the word on the street about Brazilian sushi, man? How good was that stuff that you brought by? I mean, like, what do they have? Like actual Japanese people over there? With real deal restaurants? What's happening?
Here's an interesting fact about Brazil. The largest population of Japanese people outside of Japan are in Brazil. Now, what had happened was during the World War II, there was a lot of Japanese families that had left Japan to kind of evade what was happening in Japan, and kind of took refuge over in Brazil. Same thing with Germans, Italians, I believe even French. So, the biggest population of Japanese outside of Japan is in Brazil. So the sushi over there was absolutely amazing. A lot of great Italian food in Brazil. The pizza in Brazil is incredible. And then you have your traditional Brazilian cuisine as well, which consists of a lot of meat, the really carnivore steak and fish and different types of steaks and, chicken. And so, as far as the food, oh my God, the food in Brazil is so good. I could go on about the food, man. The coxinha, Chael turned me onto this. He goes, man, we go to this place every night after practice. He goes, it's like a little gas station. We walk in, it's like an AM PM, but they have this thing called coxinha, and it's almost like a corn masa, like a tortilla or like a tamale, but then it has like shredded chicken and some other stuff inside of it, and it's shaped like a pear. It is so good. So Jay was telling me about this, and then ended up actually going out and trying it. And then anytime I ever walked past a bakery, if they had Koshina in there, I was standing in the line with my money in my hand, ready to purchase as much as I could eat. Food's amazing in Brazil.
Oh, damn, we got to go there sometime, man. But you're in Vegas right now. We'll wrap up with you. Sorry for keeping you on even longer than Adrian. But what are you up to right now? What can you tell us? Where can people find you, contact you? What's the word on the street about Jamie Huey right now?
I just finished up my seminar over in Yuma, Arizona last weekend. Huge success. We had a great turnout. Such a good turnout that they actually want me back next month. I'll be returning to Yuma, Arizona. It was awesome. I got to spend some time with Kelvin, spend time with his mom. We went to church Sunday, and it was just a good experience, man. And anytime I get to spend time with Kelvin and his coaches over there at Yuma and Sydney and everybody that put and Hector that put the seminar on, it was great. The only thing I will tell you is if you drive from Yuma back to Las Vegas, don't drive through the desert at night because there's zero lights and thoughts of your electrical system going out in your car might pop into your head, and then you start thinking, well, maybe there really is aliens, and how far am I away from Area 52 or 51? And
Yep.
I'd drive for 3 hours and not drive past another car or a street light, man. So,
that is a scary ride, man. If you break down in the middle of the desert, there's a good chance you're going to die. Like if you don't have water,
zero. Oh yeah. There's zero light out there. So I was literally thinking, if I got a flat tire, or even worse, my electrical system goes out in my car because I had a rental car.
Yep.
If this electrical system goes out, it's pitch black. There's no lights. There's nothing. You're in a desert on a road, and you could drive for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and not see another car.
Yeah.
It was a little. So I was like, there was definitely a lesson there. But anyway, as far as that, I'll be returning to Yuma. I'm working a amateur Muay Thai event this weekend. I'll be wrapping hands and displaying my Cutman skills, complimentary of my friend Adrian here. And other than that, man, headed up to Portland hopefully in a week, maybe 2 weeks. I got to tie up some loose ends up there. And other than that, man, that's pretty much what I got going on.
Awesome, man. Definitely keep in touch. Obviously, we'll touch base with you again. Hopefully next Tuesday. I can't thank you enough for coming on tonight and hooking us up with Adrian Rosenbusch, our guest earlier, Cutman for the UFC, tough MMA organizations all over the place. Swayze apprenticed under him. That tells you all you need to know.
Absolutely.
Coach Huey at Coach Huey on Twitter. Look him up on the Facebook. Everything's out there, people. Come on.
Yeah, I'm done with the Facebook, actually. I got rid of Facebook. I'm on Twitter at Coach Jamie Huey. My Instagram at Coach Jamie, and my website. I'm done with Facebook.
I got to do that too, man.
Yeah.
I do better on Twitter. Suck my dick.
Every time I'm on Twitter, man, it's the same story. It's just exes staring me in the face or messages from family that
You're talking on Facebook, yeah.
Yeah, on Facebook. Yeah, just I can't do it anymore. It's always somebody poking me, and I don't even like being poked in real life. I'm done with it.
I don't want to play fish games or Farmville. Yeah,
that's right, man. Yeah. Just keep track of one thing. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, definitely. All right, at Coach Jamie Huey on Twitter, people look him up. Thank you again for coming on tonight. Almost coming to a conclusion of Top Brazil 3. We're coming up to the supposed Sonnen versus Wani fight that probably won't happen, let's face it. But we'll get into that next time. Coach, thank you for your time. We will, I'll talk to you here probably in a couple of minutes later tonight. But, man, as always, man, good one. Thanks as always, man. Take care.
Anytime, guys. Have a good night.
You too.
Later, Coach.
There he goes, Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey. We are Left on the Word in the Street podcast with co-host producer Jake from the MMA podcast.
You can't do
Ninja
nothing to me that
Larson.
Castro hasn't already done.
Co-host Ninja Larson. And we'll see who else comes on the call because it is time.
What?
Well, let's cover at least one topic, MMA topic or two in the news that I wanted to get to before we get to the feud and settle a few scores here on the Wooden Street podcast once and for all. But no, the MMA news topic that I was wanting to talk about, at least, you guys can bring up whatever the hell you guys want. Open mic, as always.
Damn.
Unmute, do whatever you guys got to do.
That's cold. Not even giving your opponent tonight an intro. The psychological warfare has already begun. We do have a fourth person on the call, but
You do?
he's not being mentioned, I guess, because Ramses is going up against him in the main event of tonight's Word on the Street.
Or maybe you're
I guess,
going off script.
Well, Ross is going to be asking me and Ninja questions in the goddamn
Wait,
undercard,
who?
Ramses.
Who are you talking about? Who? What? Huh?
I don't know.
Me neither, man. How
Who
about
am
that?
I talking about?
How about we bring up an MMA news topic before we make any reveals here and any showdowns?
So he's not going to be a part of this topic?
Well, that depends on you. You're the one with the cue. Cough, cough.
Ross, are you gonna fucking say fucking anything? Like, this is the stupidest shit I've ever been
You see,
a part
this is
of
why I
in
don't
my
show
life.
up to this podcast
This is
every
so
week.
stupid.
This
Oh,
stupid
I
shit,
need music
like
to
Ramsey
talk.
Not
I
having
need
a
music
fucking
to
run
talk.
sheet and knowing what the fuck goes on his own damn show. It's a Mickey
That's
Mouse
why.
outfit of a show. I'll give you that. That is
You're
why.
gonna get your damn music before trivia, Jew. Why don't you just introduce yourself? I don't need to play any damn fucking
Sit back
music.
The producing chair and shut the fuck up while the big boys talk. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Jew is back on the Word on the Street podcast. It has been a while, but I am in studio finally, and tonight I'm going to take out Ramses. Next week, I'll take out Jake, I'll take out Ninja, I'll take out Yao, I'll take out anybody who steps in front of me, and I will take over the Word on the Street. Get it fucking going.
This guy, this Jew, Ross Finkelstein, has been the bane of my existence for almost 6 months now. He used to be a co-host. He used to be a producer of this show. He produced, I'll even get real with you guys, man. I'll shoot, whatever. He used to be a producer on the show. Whenever him and Jake would, just help me out. I mean, Jake's still 100%, on my side. He's been loyal till what we're approaching and what will most likely be the bitter end. Jake's been there. He's gonna be there. Ross, however, he was helping out producing the show. He was on the infamous show where it was Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey's birthday. What? And he was the one that made it happen. We recorded birthday messages from Coach's friends and family and colleagues. I mean, Chelson called in. Chelson's mom called in. We had Kelvin, Zach Cummings, Clayton Hires, Scott McQuarrie. I don't think he called in, but you know what? We'll give him credit anyway. Vinny Magalesh. All right, everybody. There were even little kids calling in. Ross helped me put that together, man. He was a good guy back then, but then something happened. Something changed.
What?
He went dark on us, people. He changed his ways. He gravitated towards the dark side.
What?
He did, man. It was true. It happened. Ross Finkelstein became an agent of darkness. He went dark, is what I'm saying.
I always just wanted a little bit of light so I could shine, just to go forward.
That's right. He was my friend at first. He was my champion hero on the podcast, winning every trivia podcast that I put out there. He was champion, undefeated trivia champion on the One Street podcast. All right, consecutive. He was undefeatable. He was the Goldberg. He was the Stone Cold. He was the Hulk Hogan. He was the Ultimate Warrior. He was Owen Hart before the accident. It was everything, man. Ross Finkelstein was the man. He was a friend of mine. One day he disappears. He says, I'm not going to do your rinky-dink Mickey Mouse outfit of a podcast anymore. He says, I'm out of here. He says, I'm gone. He disappears. All right? Rumors are he ran off and got married or something. A tragic divorce. I don't even know. We won't even get into that, all right, people? But he's back now. He's challenging me, of all people. He hates me. He's like the prodigal son come back with a knife in his hand. It's ridiculous. And we'll get to that a little bit later. But, Ross, it's good to have you at least back on for the moment. This is, it's 100% real. You've challenged me. We are going to have a trivia challenge contest to the bitter end to decide who stays on, who's got respect, who's got the juice. But before that, I did want to talk a little bit MMA and actually give Jake from the MMA podcast a chance to settle his feud with Ninja from the Word on the Street podcast. That's right.
Yo, let's break down MMA. We'll do all this smack talking before the undercard. Yeah, we should have planned this out better.
Oh, no need, man. I got this. MMA topics. The only one that I wanted to bring out was this bullshit about the rankings. All of a sudden, it turns out if you're one of these MMA media members, you're out there, you're a journalist, you think you think you got the juice, you got the hype, you got the say, you're voting on these UFC rankings, you think you're somebody. Today, they, just delete Nate Diaz from the rankings, claiming he's just, been inactive for a while. He's gone. I gotta say, even I take umbrage with this. Even me, who doesn't give a goddamn.
I don't give a shit.
There's a little bit of bullshit here. I mean, Nate Diaz is arguably in at least the top 15.
But the UFC's offering him fights, and he's not taking them. It isn't the UFC's fault he chooses not to be an active fighter.
But does that make him a lesser-ranked fighter, though? Do you know what I mean? Is it justified to be like, all of a sudden, he's not as good as we said he was? It seems like you're punishing a guy on B for what he did on an A subject that had nothing to do with it.
Yo, you know what's really funny, though? Dominic Cruz is still ranked. Dominic Cruz is still ranked the number 9 bantamweight.
It's almost been 2 years.
I mean, honestly, though, like, if you're going to tell me the UFC is being unfair and vindictive about something, like, this is old news. The UFC is vindictive about something every other fucking week. I mean, I was talking to someone on Press Row, I won't drop any names, but we were talking about people, how it's kind of crazy certain people in the media just can't go to UFC events because Dana White decided, you know what, you said something I didn't like, so you're never going to get credentialed at a UFC again. I mean, the vindictiveness of the UFC is a storyline we're going to see play out and can continue to play out as long as Dana White is at the helm. And I don't want to bash Dana, because if it wasn't for Dana, the sport wouldn't be where it is. I love the shit out of Dana White, but certain things, this is an example, not including Tito, which I don't like Tito. Tito's got me blocked on Twitter, but you can't just pretend the guy didn't get the wins he got. I mean, it isn't like he pulled an OJ and killed his wife or something.
They did try to justify the Tito thing with some sort of like run around backwards ass weight limit logic or something. I forget what the whole workaround was, but excuse me, Jake. While I reflect on what you said and light up this pipe full of marijuana here live on the air, on the Street podcast, Jake.
Hell yeah, light it up.
You mentioned Press Row. I do want to highlight, and you should receive recognition. You did do a service to the MMA community and MMA journalism. You were actually credentialed as press for an MMA event. Can you please tell us about it, man?
Yeah, dude.
And honestly, take your time,
amazing.
man. I'll give it to him, but Ross and his trivia. Tell us about it, man. Honestly, now's your time. You did it. Where were you? How was it? Media, man. You've got it. You were credentialed, man. What's the word?
Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever been credentialed. It wasn't only cool because I was getting a media pass, but it was something I was representing the MMA podcast, which I run, so that was really cool. Glory, dude, honestly, Glory is only going to get bigger and bigger. I think in a few years, people are going to know Glory fighters almost as well as they know UFC fighters. We don't know about many of them now, but Glory is so fun. I mean, and if you're talking about the watchability aspect, Glory's more watchable than MMA, because MMA, you get a lot of fights, ends up sort of a stalling match on the ground. These dudes are not only world-class kickboxers, they're trying to finish one another. We see lots of finishes. And it was a hell of a time. Glory 16, Broomfield, Colorado, saw Errol Zimmerman win a four-man tournament, which earned him a spot in another four-man tournament, which I thought was kind of weak, but it was still an awesome card. Mark DeBont becoming the welterweight champion. Saw Rico Verhoeven afterwards. Fucking Raymond Daniels with the best KO I've ever seen, and I saw it live. It was fucking incredible. A two-touch spinning back kick, Glory 16. If you're not already following Glory for real, get on the bandwagon now, because this shit is blowing up. I was not the only person on the call to do press this weekend.
Oh, really? Might you be talking about Mr. Ross Finkelstein himself out there?
The best Jew in
covering
the business.
not only Extreme Rules, but I believe it was an MMA event as well. Bellator, correct?
Ross?
I don't even know if he's going to reveal himself, man. Might have shot to him a little too early.
True, he's fucking doing lines of blow.
All right. Well, look. Let's all right, Jake. Sorry. You were there for Glory. Congratulations. Do you think you'll ever do it again, or is your career as an MMA journalist in real life over?
It's over. I peaked out. I was doing a ton of blow on press row, like between every fight. I had a couple lines down. The PR guy tried kicking me out. I didn't fully unholster the gun, but I sort of lifted up my shirt a little bit to show him I was packing heat. Yeah, my career as an MMA journalist is over.
Did you get to actually meet up with Mr. Eric Jackman, a.k.a. New York Rick, from the MMA the MMA Hour with Ariel Hawaii?
Yeah, super nice guy actually. I actually met a lot of people. Brian Rogers from Bellator, Rico Verhoeven, just a ton of fucking people. New York Rick, Carwin was there, Gaethje was there, Thatch was there, and the old standard holds true as far as MMA goes. These guys, you would think that they're haughty and egotistical, because you sort of get this mental image. Oh, he's a fighter. He must be this really self-absorbed guy. These guys are so selfless. I don't know if it's the fact that they work off all that douchey energy in the gym or what, because fighters, kickboxers, people in that business are some of the coolest people ever. Rick is not a fighter, but I gotta give him credit. Dressed to the nines, all stylish like. And yeah, Rick's a cool dude.
When you met Rick, did he creepily put his face as close to yours as possible with a wide head angle, like when he's on the show, because those are extremely uncomfortable close-ups on the show, the video. Like I don't. Why is the shot so fucking close up on his face?
I walked in the arena, and literally he walks up and he goes like face to face, our noses are touching, and he like played it off like nothing was going on. Like, hey, I'll walk you and a few guys over to press row in a little bit. But he was about 2 inches away. No, he was. There was literally nothing really that stood out as odd or peculiar. He was super nice.
Did you remember?
I didn't get a chance to meet Luke Thomas, also from MMA Fighting. He was doing backstage interviews and the like. Yeah.
Oh, thank God, man. He's huge head. But that's neither here nor there, man.
He has a face that looks like he's like 30, but he has the gray hair of like a 55-year-old man. Like, he literally could be anywhere between age 25 and 60, and I wouldn't be surprised.
He just looks like a great cloud of just negativity and just hitting people like that are like can't defend themselves. I'm sorry. I won't go into it any more than that.
I saw him push a little boy into a stack of chairs.
Oh, imagine what he does when his kid spills the milk. Like, imagine. I'm watching his goddamn, his show that he does, like, I guess, like, on YouTube, Google Chat Hangouts, or whatever the fuck it's called, and, like, half the time, something will happen in the background of his office. He starts screaming and yelling at people that can't even hear him. It's like, man, what does this guy do when his wife like misspells something? You know what I'm saying? All right, I hate to speculate. Anyway, Jake, man, good to see you were there. New York Rick, though, man, I guess you forgot to give him my message to stay away from a girly MMA.
That message should have been directed to our friends Yao and Ross, because apparently they spotted a girly MMA at Bellator 118.
Yeah, man. That's what I saw and heard. I didn't want to believe it. That gives me all the more reason to whoop Ross's ass shortly here in the future. In a couple minutes.
In multiple pools.
It's going down. Yeah, man. It's this is the final straw. This is why this is happening. He finally just got too close to too many women. And I have to reveal some things. It's gonna get hard, man. It's hard times.
I have to go run and take a piss, though, so we should throw it to Ninja and Ross because I feel like it's been a two-way dialogue since Jamie.
Yeah, you know what? I want to talk to Ninja. I want to talk to Ninja right now. Ninja Larson, are you there on the Word in the Street podcast, man?
I am here.
Good, man. Glad you're joining us. Apparently, before I face the man that has been the bane of my existence for the last 6 months, before I take down Ross Finkelstein, you might have a score to settle with Jake from the MMA podcast, just to get things started. I don't know. You're like, have you seen the shovel fight that's going around on the internet with these two bitches? One of them bashes the other one in the fucking head with a goddamn shovel. It was hilarious, man.
I do want to say that one girl, if you watch the whole, like, there's two different clips of it going around. One was the actual fight. They were, like, punching each other. And one of the chicks is, like, knocking on the other girl's face. It's kind of weird. But please, whoever you are in that video, please go to Great Jiu-Jitsu, a boxing gym or something, and learn how to punch.
Yep. When that
really quickly before I jump off and take a piss, I just want to throw in my 2 cents on the shovel video. I briefly talked about my bad concussion before, and I hate to sound like I'm being harpy or whatever, but I don't know, man. Whenever I see someone out and someone stomping on their head, or someone like just trying to inflict that much damage to someone's brain, my immediate thought is they gotta go to jail. Cause man, fucking throwing a shovel at someone's head, that is like that is you attempting so much malice. Like, I don't know whether you're just stupid and don't understand brain injury, or you're just a fucking dumb bitch and you wanna.
She was trying to. She would have.
And I'm not just. And I'm not just talking about women. If you're a guy and you stomp on another guy's head when he's out, you're a dumb bitch. I don't mean bitch in the prerogative, like, sexist sense. Like, I don't know. Seeing people take cheap shots, seeing people aim for one another's domes, that shit really pisses me off. Yeah, and Ninja, save your rant for the goddamn intros. I'm gonna go take a piss, you beautiful cocksuckers.
I will do that, but I do gotta say it's great to be the ninja, because if somebody pulls a shovel on me, a fucking shovel, you're gonna try to hurt me, the ninja, with a shovel. It's
Shovels
not
are
gonna
slow
work.
as hell.
I will take that shovel. I will use the end that's gonna actually hurt. You know, the handle part, not the big wide metal part that's gonna catch all the air. And I'm going to shove that shovel right up your candy ass.
That's right, man. It was a little ridiculous. The shovel in the video, it comes out of nowhere. It's like there's the full video and there's the Vine. Both are hilarious. The full video, they're making up rules. They're like, don't kick me in the stomach, no hair pulling. But that's what they both proceed to then do to each other. The shovel thing wasn't that much of a stretch, but yeah, I do get what Jake. She grabbed that shovel. If she hadn't have thrown it, like, if you, any listeners, anybody that doesn't know, just look up shovel fight on YouTube. That's it. You'll see it. It's girl in the yoga, gray pants with the pink shirt, redhead, getting all types of fucked up by a girl that's 14 years old, 2 years younger than she is. There's a 14-year-old and 16-year-old. It's taking the internet by storm. The rematch, you could put it on pay-per-view tomorrow. It would do 1 million buys, honestly. Unfortunately, it'd be extremely illegal.
Speaking of videos,
yeah,
I have my Ninja Star of the Week.
What?
Let's do it.
To go out.
I don't know what this is, but let's do it.
I'm not going to pull the rant. I'm not going to do the promo, because this doesn't even deserve a promo. After the Mayweather Madonna fight, Madonna, whatever you want to call him, there's a video of rapper Lil Wayne. I don't know if anybody else has seen this. After the fight, Medina's going through the lobby, getting ready to leave. The crowd's going nuts, chanting "Viva, Viva," whatever the heck they chant. And Lil Wayne proceeds to try to pick a fight with professional boxer Medina. So, Lil Wayne, you have earned the Ninja Star of the Week, because I can't even, the ninja speech is on this one.
I found the video for it. I can play the audio, even though it's probably just going to sound like a bunch of people screaming and someone's phone's vibrating.
It's probably yours.
It's not mine.
Yeah, if you want to do that, this is utterly...
Yep, like I predicted, just a bunch of people screaming.
World Star, man, World Star.
Hell yeah. It actually is World Star. I'm not even playing.
Yeah. Well, fuck.
He actually goes up to him. He has to be separated by Medina's crew or whoever, his coaches and stuff. Lil Wayne, you have earned the Ninja Star of the Week. What in the hell are you thinking? Not to take any credit. Wayne deserves any credit. I doubt he does. but you're going to go up against a professional boxer who is, I got to imagine, hot as hell, who, in my opinion, nearly beat with, actually, my opinion is I think he beat the best boxer in the world. That's just what I'm going with. And you want to walk up to this guy and pick a fight with him, he would have chewed you up and spit you out. Lil Wayne, I would chew you up and spit you out. And you're going to go after a professional that just beat the greatest boxer in the world today. That is ridiculous. For that, Lil Wayne, you are a star.
For Ross, for Ross's sake, I do know we need to get to the trivia soon, but two things real quick. One, I actually have a friend working in New York who is working backstage at the Celebrity Beach Bowl, an event DirecTV put on before the Super Bowl, and apparently Lil Wayne was ejected from the Celebrity Beach Bowl because he tried starting a fight with like one of the people who worked for the Beach Bowl, not my friend, but one of his coworkers. Fucking crazy. Also, someone's got their phone set to vibrate whenever a message comes through on Skype. So I don't know if that's something you can flip off or what. Maybe mute up. I don't know, but just throwing that out there. Dude, I'm pumped for this trivia competition. We've been talking shit for months, literally, for the lead up to May 6th.
Let's do it right now, man. I am sorry. I didn't know that would be shooting on Lil Wayne, but I support you, Ninja, man. If you're saying he's a piece of shit, then you know what, Lil Wayne? Fuck you.
The Rosenbusch interview went way longer than we thought it was, but that was seriously one of the most captivating stories we've ever had on. It was fucking worth it. You want me to break down the rules really quick before we get to the undercard?
The undercard. You know what, Jake?
Let me break down the rules really quick. Ninja. Let me break down the rules really quickly, and then we'll fucking rant at each other.
The undercard.
The undercard. Yeah, basically what it is, it's a trivia game. We haven't done it for months. We started off the word on the street with it. We haven't done it for months. Basically, Ross is going to be hosting the undercard. I'm going to be hosting the main card. The host will pick a fighter and then proceed to tell clues about that fighter. Once someone thinks they have the answer, they buzz in with their own name. So I would say Jake, Ninja would say Ninja, etc. That way it just doesn't get mixed up. Say me and Ninja blurt out the same fighter's name at the same time. We can't figure out who said who first. If somebody guesses incorrect, they have to wait for two more hints to come through before they can guess again. That sort of stops people from guessing ad nauseum. But it's really simple. Apart from the trivia thing, the only things you the listener, have got to know is that we're buzzing in with our names. And then whoever says their name first gets the first guess. And if someone guesses wrong, they gotta wait for two more hints to be thrown out before they can guess again. Did I miss anything, Ramses?
Holy shit, so it's you in the prelim card, the undercard fight, versus the Ninja? The Ninja, what do you have to say? You're facing Jake from the MMA podcast.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
Sorry, I like when the Shield's music plays. I finally wanted to listen to something that's great, not the annoying voice of Jake, which I have listened to for the past hour and a half now. Dear Lord, when do you people stop talking? I have to keep the vomit out of my throat to get this interview out. So excuse me, people. This Jake guy, wherever he came from, he's got all the little soundboard. He's got all the fancy stuff queued up to play. But he can't cut a promo like I can cut a promo. Jake, you may have been great in the past, but you're about to go one-on-one with somebody that will adapt. I will adapt tonight. I'm not going to beat you in the first challenge, the second challenge, or the third challenge. What I'm going to beat you in is life tonight, Jake. I'm going to beat you so bad, you're going to be like Ross and never show your face again. And that is the truth. Believe in the ninja.
And that's the bottom line.
I don't gotta say much here. The only person in Word on the Street history who's defeated me is the Jew. When I look across the ring, I don't see a Jew. I see a joke. Yao was gonna take me on first, and just like every opponent I've been handed recently, Yao backed out of the fight. He was scared. Last minute, he told the world that he didn't want to fight me. He didn't want a shot at the belt. He would rather back out, save himself the embarrassment, save himself the injury. And Ninja, you should have done the same tonight, because all I'm going to do, I'm going to win this in 3 guesses. Ross, you only need 3 fighters. I'm going to take it 3-0. Every fighter you get a point. It's the first to 3. I left that out when I described the rules. I described the rules. I described the game. This is my game. I'm the one who broke the Jew streak. The winner of this fight gets a shot at the title next week. I don't care who wins in the main card. Ramses, Ross, enjoy the belt while you have it. You're going to have it for a week. Next week on May 13th, after I dispatch the Ninja 3-0, I'm going to dispatch the winner 3-0. Ross, I hope you have the fighters ready. Let's do this shit.
Ross making his return to the Word on the Street podcast. I believe he should get a walkout on this goddamn show.
He will during the main
course.
card.
I already had my walkout at the beginning, a little bit before. I will host this for the first time. And let me just say before I start, both of you absolutely, positively, no doubt about it, suck. Let's get to this. Okay, the first fighter. He is 5 feet, 10 inches tall. He's white. Bet you didn't think I was going to say that. He's been fighting since the year 2001. He fights out of AKA. He has fought a total of 27 mixed martial arts bouts. Nothing. No. No one's got a guess. No one wants to challenge the Jew. All right. He lost his last fight. He is a former champion in Strikeforce.
Jake. Josh the Punk Thompson.
Yes. Jake has a point. Somehow.
Congratulations, Jake.
Jake is up 1-0. And like I said before, both you gentlemen absolutely suck. Second fighter. This man fights in the middleweight division. He is a Division I wrestler. Was a Division I wrestler. He's not in college anymore. No, he is far out of college. He stands at 6 feet. He has a victory over Kendall Grove. He is fighting within the next 60 days. He trains alongside Chael P. Sonnen.
I want to make sure that Ninja is still alive at this point. I'm sorry to interrupt. Ninja, are you still conscious?
The ninja is still conscious.
Okay, continue, fellas. I'm sorry.
He has been fighting since 2007.
Jake, I'm throwing it out there. I know I have Mark Munoz.
Mark Munoz. Jake with a 2-0 lead.
He's got this, Ninja.
We've come down to the third fighter. Ninja needs to now sweep for the rest of the competition if he wants to win this. Jake only needs to get one more correct to win the undercard bout.
You got this, Ninja. Don't worry about this Jake guy.
Here we go. This fighter is on a 4-fight winning streak. He is the same color as Yao and Chroma. He has an 80-inch reach. He finished his last fight.
The Enchroma last name is something that it's a joke that just writes itself if you have any knowledge of. Continue.
He is also fighting within the next 60 days.
It's like technological color and keys and.
He is undefeated in the UFC. No one's going to guess anything. He fights out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Jake.
Ninja, whatever Jake's gonna say.
Jake.
Is it Rampage Jackson?
It is not Rampage Jackson, you racist motherfucker.
So 2 more guesses and then 2 more hints, and then I can guess again. But until then, I can't.
Wait, when did we put rules into the game all of a sudden?
I described them clearly before the undercard.
Ninja is requesting that you list all the hints before resuming and asking him.
Ninja, did you request that?
I did.
It's true. I was there.
Okay.
Jake cannot answer.
I said he is undefeated in the UFC. He is the same color as Yao and Chroma. He is on a 4-fight winning streak. He finished his last fight. And he is fighting out of Knoxville, Tennessee. And he has an 80-inch reach.
Come on with the 2 more hints. Come on with the 2 more hints.
Ninja doesn't have a guess. I'll continue.
Ninja has up to 2 guesses, I believe, before Jake can answer.
What? No, it's you guess, and then you can guess again after 2 more hints go by.
Okay.
So Ninja can guess now, but he's got to wait with me. Sorry?
You mean Ninja can guess now based on the facts that Ross has outlined, which suggests it's a black fighter who's been undefeated in his past 4 fights? Is that correct?
Correct.
Indeed it is.
Yo, for real, let's move it along.
Okay, then I will give the next hint.
Yeah, we should rumble on. I'm sorry, ramble on.
Ninja?
Ninja?
Anthony Rumble Johnson.
No, it is not Anthony Rumble Johnson.
Damn,
So because
wrong.
both of us guessed, can we now freely guess, or should we wait 2 more hints?
Yes.
Whatever ends this.
Yes, you can now freely guess.
Jake.
Sorry, I was trying to think of that guy's name forever.
In
I
that
thought it was
time,
wrong.
Jake was able to go to Google and find out who it was.
I thought
Okay,
it was
Jake,
wrong.
go.
Really?
Yep.
The reason I know this, I thought Tennessee and immediately thought Rampage, guessed Rampage, but then I remembered I'm a big fan of the Florida Gators. You know who else used to play football for the Florida Gators rival? Ovens St. Preux. Ninja, you were a game opponent tonight, and I appreciate you giving me a little bit of competition. That third one was tricky. I don't know why I couldn't think of OSP, who finished Nikita Krylov this past March. We'll be fighting Ryan Jimmo this coming June. You were a game opponent. June 13th, the winner of the main event. Or not June, May 13th. They better get ready for a whole lot of hurt, because I'm going to bring it to them. I'm going to bring it right to them.
Exactly.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
I just want to come in and say that I was muted this whole time, and I didn't know that. Those were all sound bites.
Have a rebuttal.
Yo, Ninja, you can fight in the undercard next week. You can eventually reach the main card. But as far as I see it,
Just soundbited me from
He's
past.
saying shenanigans.
That's shenanigans.
that's
Completely.
3-0, baby. And I'm going to get another 3-0 next week. And I'm going to get another 3-0 the week after. You can't stop me. Believe in evolution.
Ninja, you got to rematch him. That's the bottom line. That's just because Stone Cold said so, man.
One
You
day,
have to
but I'm
rematch.
getting the title shot next week. Ninja, one day you will get your rematch, but it's not going to be tonight. It's not going to be next week. It may not be the week after, but I think it's time we get to the main event.
It is.
Amateur hour's over. It's time for the big boys to step in the cage, hit the
right.
music. Let's get this thing going. What do I need to say? I'm ready to go. I've been waiting for hours and hours and hours. I've waited for 6 months to get my hands on you, Ramses. I don't need to say anything else. I want to fight.
It is the main event, people. It's not often that I get on here and I actually make it personal, but sometimes something happens on this podcast. I get emotionally involved. I have to answer. And people, when that happens, I do turn into the owner, the CEO of the Word on the Street podcast, people. I do turn into the big boss. And if you cross me, you will be fired. You understand? It brings out the worst in me. Especially this son of a bitch that has been challenging me for 6 months straight, at least Ross Finkelstein. He's here on now. He's challenging me. This is how it's going to happen, people. The Word on the Street podcast, I don't like to lower myself to this man's level. But he's forced me to. He's challenged me. He's called me out. What's going to happen before I make a big reveal to this man and the world out there listening? I am going to shoot him straight. This is going to be a real trivia. This is going to be a real shoot. It's a trivia, just quick session here. Me versus Ross. He thinks he knows more than I do. No. I've memorized the entire UFC roster and fight records of every amateur MMA fighter within the past 13 years. Alright? My memory doesn't fail 100%. There's no way he's going to beat me. If he does, he's going to suffer the consequences. That's neither here nor there. That's probably another episode. But I'm here taking him on right now. He is, and I'm telling you, after this trivia contest, I have a big revelation to make about Ross Finkelstein. I'm ready, you son of a bitch. This is the Word of the Street podcast. You piss in my pool. You're invading my territory. You're taking me on my own home. This is it, the home court advantage. You're trying to take it away from me, but I'm telling you right now, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch, Ross Finkelstein. It's time to do this dance. Beat it style. Michael Jackson, 1984. I'm ready. Let's get to this trivia contest. Winner take all. Ross Finkelstein.
This is the moment we've been waiting for weeks. Ramses versus Ross. Did someone just say something and I spoke over him? I apologize.
That was the Ninja. I was wondering how Ramses gets like a 5-minute spot and how the Ninja gets like 2 minutes. That's what I was just
Ninja, as long as you would have talked, I would have played the damn music.
I'm
But,
the Vince McMahon of this show. Let's do this shit.
That's right. Yeah, let's do this shit. Ross, are you ready? Turn up your mic a little bit because you're coming through super
scared.
not loud at all.
You can hear him right
Yes.
He's scared.
He said that he whispered that from behind his bedpost.
Fired.
You're gonna
Let's
cry,
do this
Ross.
shit.
You're gonna cry.
It's been the longest fucking show I've ever sat through. You're not paying me enough. Let's get this going. Come on.
This fighter is 34 years old. He fought in Strikeforce and currently fights in the UFC.
Ramses checking in right now.
Ramses.
I don't even know if this shit is legit. Oh fuck! Now I have two guesses. Now it's all forming together in my brain. I'll go with my initial impulse was Arlovsky, but now I'm picking Jake Shields. But whatever. I'll go with Andrei Arlovsky.
It is not Andrei Arlovsky. You will be able to guess again after two more hints. 34. He used to fight in Strikeforce. He's 5'11". He has a fight against Mayhem Miller.
Ross. Is it Tim Kennedy?
It is Tim Kennedy. The first point goes to the Jew.
Ross, you son of a bitch.
That actually was a really awesome guess. All right, next fighter. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
He's 5'6". He's 5'6", and he's a wrestler. He has fought for a UFC title, but lost. He's only had one title fight. His last fight was in 2013. He is not scheduled to fight in the next 60 days.
Ninja. I'm the ninja. I do whatever I want. You can't put rules on the ninja.
He wrestled collegiately. He's only fought in one weight class in the UFC. He fought in the same weight class in the WEC. He has a win against Cody McKenzie.
You son of a bitch.
He was born west of the Mississippi River.
Ross.
Ross?
Is it Chad Mendez?
The next guess was he shares a nickname with a professional boxer, Chad Money Mendez. That is the correct answer. Ross going up 2-0
Son of a bitch.
on Ramses. Ramses needs to sweep in order to keep it.
Jake.
What's that?
Jake.
What's that?
Let's have a little intermission here. You see, I'm kicking Ramses' ass, so I want to entertain the people for a second. You see, we've had a build-up for 6 months for this, and Ramses has talked all this shit, and he said how he's going to destroy me, how he's going to end me. And here we are. I'm up 2-0. Ramses hasn't done jack shit. And I'm going to retain my belt in a matter of 5 minutes. Ramses, these are your final moments as a credible threat to anyone on this planet. And once I take every bit of pride and dignity that you have, you will have nothing left. So right now, I'd like to take a moment to dedicate this next one to you. Because it will be the last thing you ever see. Continue, Jake.
Wait, we get promos in the middle of fights now? Who's
The Jew
scheduling
does.
this bullcrap?
This is a championship matchup. If anyone wants to cut a promo during a championship, who am I to step in? Who am I to tell them no? The next fighter fought in Pride. He also fought in Strikeforce, but currently fights for the UFC. His last
Vanderlei. I have a guess. It is Vanderlei Silva.
Vanderlei Silva did not fight in Strikeforce,
Son of
so
a
you'll
bitch.
you'll have to sit out the next couple hints.
This is the easiest fucking game ever. Holy
Ninja.
shit.
His last 3 fights all ended in the first round. He has been interviewed on the Steve Austin Show.
Ross.
Ross.
Josh Barnett.
That is the correct answer, Ross Finkelstein. You are the word on the street champion.
You see, I have something to say. I haven't even trained for this fight because why? Why would I train for such an easy fight? This is like Dana White fighting Cain Velasquez. You know what's going to happen. Cain's going to fucking maul him. Ramses, you are Dana White. And I am Cain Velasquez. And I just mauled you. I beat you 3-0.
You know
And
what?
now that
Ross?
I've taken everything you have, what do you have to say?
Uh-huh. Yeah. You taking everything I have, huh? Well, guess what? This is my fucking show. I'm up in the fucking stakes here. Right here and now. Live on the fucking air. Yeah, you might have answered a couple of trivia questions. Who knows if you and Jake got together playing with each other's balls, let's be honest. You guys have met in real life a few times. Shared rooms together. I don't even know what the hell.
I've never met Ross. Oh, wait, no, I met him that one time. Damn, I'm high.
You people, you're all in on it together. I don't know what's going on here. I know that, I mean, nothing against Jews, but I don't have a problem with the Jewish community or Jewish individuals or practices, but I got a problem with this Jew. This Ross Finkelstein. I'll tell you right now, people, where it's all stemming from. And I'm sorry, Jake. I know you met him in person. I just have to assume that you guys were in on this. You set me up. I'll never forgive you, Jake, from the MMA podcast, and I'll never forgive you, Ross, especially because I'll just keep it brief right now. I have a revelation to make, all right? You think you got your secrets with me and with Jake. You probably fed him the questions and answers at least 8 months ago before you even started your beef, right? You guys met up in Vegas. I know all about that. I got the hotel receipts, all right? That's in a future podcast. Ninja, he's disgusted just like I am. He knows you're just a bunch of dirty, cheating liars, scumbags, individuals of ill repute. Ross, Jake, this is bullshit, but let me tell you something, Ross. Let me admit to you something 12 years ago. It's a dark story. I've never told anyone this. This is an exclusive. You can take this to the bank, Ross. I don't know how old you are now. Maybe 21, 30, maybe 18. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. A long time ago, I used to be into drugs and, just doing things that were just, I was in a bad spot. It was hard times. And I met a woman named Rose Finkelstein. Do you understand me, Ross? That should ring a bell, 'cause it's your mother. I met her a long time ago. One thing led to another with me and Rose Finkelstein. You hearing me, Ross? And honestly, you were born. I've done the math. I've figured it out in my head. My relationship with Rose Finkelstein falls right around the time of the conception, everything. It would time out to exactly when you were born. Ross, you are my bastard son, and tonight I have to destroy you because of this. I have to destroy you. You did beat me in the trivia. I understand. I've only been feeding you these victories, all right, man? It's all been my diabolical scheme, Ross. Me and your mother, Ross Finkelstein, let's face it, man. How can you deny these facts that I present to you? There's no way. So it's a fact, and that's the bottom line. So let's get to it, man.
Ramses.
I am your father, Ross.
Ramses.
You mean sir? You should call me
Ramses. You see, I knew this. We've talked about this. We've had meetings about this months ago when we planned out everything. When we came up with this competition in the first place, a means of making money, a means of changing the world. We spoke about this. But there's one thing I will never, ever call you, and that's sir. There's another thing I'll never call you, and that's dad.
He is your father. Ross, he is your father.
Jake, stay out of this. I'll deal with you next week. Ramses, the only thing you are after tonight is my bitch.
You know what? I understand that you are my offspring. I was only mathematically speaking, for this to make realistically any sort of sense at all, I must have been 12 or 13 at the time, but I am your father biologically. I didn't think my seed would take hold, but it obviously did. Here you are. We are live on the air, on the Word on the Street podcast, by the way, people. Who knows where this is going to go, but I'm telling you right now, if I created you, Ross, I have to destroy you. All right, you have more knowledge of random MMA trivia than I do, and for that reason alone, you have to go. So let's get down to it, man. Let's up this to the next level. Let's take this. Let's quit beating around the bush. A lot of people like to have trivia, like to have rounds, showdowns, face-offs, fist fights. No. Let's go all the way. Let's put our lives on the line right now, here, on the air of the podcast itself. This is for, how much you're about to hear about as real as it gets, people. All right? I am challenging my son, my bastard son, Ross Finkelstein, to a live game on the podcast for you people to hear of Russian roulette. I know he has a gun. I made sure I sent him one. He's got one. I've got one. Let's do Russian roulette right now. Put one in the chamber. We'll spin it around, and we'll take turns right now, live on the air, one at a time. Fuck this trivia, this MMA. Let's get down to it. One of us has got to go. We can't both exist in the same place at the same time. It's like defying the laws of physics, and so to speak, and such. Ross, man, are you ready to do Russian roulette live on the Word on the Street podcast for everyone to hear?
Ramses, when you sent me this gun, I told myself from day one that the one bullet in this gun would be reserved for you. And you. And although I don't get to put this specific bullet through your skull, I know that the one that's in your gun will represent the one that's in my gun.
There you have it, people. I know this sounds fucking weird, and you guys don't want to buy it. You guys don't believe this is happening, but this is it, people. The show is either going to continue next week, or it's going to end right here and fucking now with this game of Russian roulette live with my bastard son, Ross Finkelstein, live on the Word on the Street podcast. So let's do this right now. He won the trivia contest, so I guess I should take the first shot on Russian roulette. I have my 9mm Smith & Wesson with the barrel spun, one round in it, chambered. In case you don't believe me, I'm going to cock it. There it is, people. And here we go. I'm going to pull the trigger, Ross, but you're next, man. And I'm telling you, I believe in this so much. You're my bastard son. It's just been revealed here. And look, people listening, if I do go out, I bid you a good night, a farewell. don't come back next week, unless you got nothing else to do. But this is it, people. This is the end of the show. Right now, here it is. I'm about to pull the trigger. Let's see if it takes me out, man. Fuck it. Fuck you, Ross, my bastard son. Here we go. Here we go. I'm cranking it up. I'm pulling the trigger. Fuck it. There you go. I believe nothing happened. I survived. Your turn, Ross. You want to back out like you were Vanderlei Silva at a tough soccer coaches challenge. Looks like Ross is thinking about this.
Let's do this. I have to end you.
Pull it. Pull it.
Oh my God, Ross, no!
Oh, shit.